win on Instagram without posting every single day, how to use some practical strategies that's actually going to make your Instagram account work for your restaurant and bring in more revenue. Hey, what's going on, guys? Henry Kaminsky here from Brand to Table. And I've been in the restaurant game for 16 years, helping restaurants with their branding and marketing. And today we're going to stay on the Instagram kick and talk about some very fundamental strategies that you could apply for your restaurant to help you get the results that you're looking for with your social media efforts. I think a lot of times restaurant owners think that the more they post, the more they're going to get out of their Instagram account. And that's not necessarily the case. What we need to do is actually think more thoughtfully of what we're posting and determine whether or not if that's going to drive the needle to getting more covers into the restaurant. So a lot of times restaurants are just posting random food pics on their social media accounts, and they think that that's actually going to drive more customers into the venue. And unfortunately, it's not, because people don't connect or resonate with food. They resonate with feeling. They resonate with people. And so we have to think about our ratio between how much food pictures we post and actually the other types of content that we can be producing and putting out there that's actually going to make that connection with our guests to get them in the door. So it's not necessarily we need more content, we need the right content. All right, so I'm going to make this very, very simple for you. I'm going to break down the 4 C's that you need to consider when creating content for your Instagram. The first C is content itself. So I'm going to break this Instagram strategy down into 4 very simple and fundamental ways to help you level up that Instagram account of yours and actually get more covers out of it by doing these 4 things. So the 4 C's that we're going to cover is going to help you tremendously. So the number 1 C is content. And listen, we all want to post pictures of our food because obviously that is the moneymaker, right? However, not all people respond to food pics the same way. And I'll be honest with you, your food pics might be lacking the personality and the connection, and I'm just being honest here, that your guests are looking for. So we have to start to consider the different types of content that we're going to put out. And I'll get into some types later on in the show that are really going to help you level up. The second C in this strategy is consistency. Now, I'm not expecting you to post every single day. You're running a busy restaurant. You got 1,000 things up in the air. I get it. You might miss a day or 2, or maybe even a week. Who knows? But the bottom line is we don't want to disappear on our following. I'll give you a quick example. I was working with a restaurant recently, and they hadn't posted in 9 months. Like, children are born within that time, So I'm thinking to myself, like, they've been forgotten, unfortunately, and now we have to wrangle back that attention. And luckily, it wasn't too hard because they had a very loyal following. Their following was just like salivating and waiting for them to come back online. Because I remember the first story I posted and the first post and reel we posted, it got tremendous reviews and it got tremendous engagement. It was like, where have you been? We've missed you. So that's the kind of thing that we want to consider. So again, even if you're posted once a week, I would consider posting a little bit more if you can, but that will still keep you top of mind with your guests. The third C that I want to explain is connection. We run a lot of social media accounts for our clients in the restaurant space. And one of the things that I see over and over and over again, which I think is a big mistake, is we see people mentioning the restaurant in their stories, taking snapshots of their plates. We see guests replying in the comments. We see guests DMing them privately, asking specific questions. And before we came along, the restaurant was simply ignoring all of that communication. Now, I don't know about you, but let's say we're walking down the street and somebody's walking towards you and says, "Hey, good morning." And you just give him like this weird look and you just keep walking. Like, does that feel natural? And what if somebody did that to you? That is the equivalent of somebody reaching out to you on Instagram and you just basically ghosting them. So connection is key. People want to feel that you're responsive. They want to feel heard, and they also want to feel seen, right? So when they reach out to you, they're looking for some sort of response. Now, a little caveat to that. We work with a client right now who's very particular with the posts that go out on their accounts. And so let's say we have a guest that came in, took a snapshot of their dish, reposted it, tagged you, and let's just say the dish isn't as flattering as you would like it to be. You have complete freedom to respond to that post or not. And the way you do is up to you. If the post doesn't look just right, maybe you don't repost it on your feed. Maybe you just reply to him and say, "Hey, thanks for coming in last night," or "Thanks for joining us for dinner. Appreciate you. Can't wait to see you again." Either way, you're responding and building that connection with your guest. That's what they're looking for. The last C that we're talking about is conversion. So you might have heard me talk about this in the previous episode about you have to come up with stronger offers and stronger calls to action to break through all that noise that's out there on social media these days. So having very specific offers, having very specific dine with us tonight, or book your reservation today, or join us for lunch today, link in bio, things like that are going to tell the guest exactly what to do next. It's so important that we don't assume that people know what to do next. I hear this saying a lot from people. "Oh, you know what to do next, guys." Maybe they don't, So make sure that you're very clear with that in your captions, if you're speaking to the audience, let's say you're doing a selfie video, make sure that you tell them exactly what to do next, because that's going to help drive the conversion. Very, very important here. So I promised you we would talk about specific types of content that work really, really well for restaurants, that drive people from awareness to actually booking a reservation and dining with you. And so here are 4 types of content that I would suggest you start producing or have somebody produce for you. And this could be us, guys. You never know. That will help you take this strategy and actually implement it. So the first type of content that works really well is behind the scenes content. Having your chef, or if you're the chef, having yourself talk about the inspiration of the dish or showing the build out of the dish, and have very simple steps of beginning, middle, and end of how that dish is actually made. People are voyeurs. They love watching things from afar and seeing how they are created and understanding the origin stories of these dishes. So that is a phenomenal way to start creating that personality and that connection on a deeper level. The next type of content that we don't want to disregard or dismiss is actually showcasing your offers. So for example, working with a client, they had a phenomenal happy hour offer, but nobody really knew about it because on their website, all it said was happy hour Monday through Friday until 6 p.m. What does that tell me about the happy hour itself, other than when it's hosted? So what I did was I grabbed their happy hour menu and we redesigned not only a video, but some static design work, like, graphics that we were able to put in their Instagram stories and on their feed that looked really polished, really professional. So now when people are interested in their happy hour, they got the whole happy hour menu there and they're off to the races. Another piece of content that I think works really, really well is telling your brand story. I have a couple examples here I want to share with you. I recently did a video shoot with a local authentic Italian restaurant, and this husband and wife are from Puglia in Italy, and they've been here for about 6 years now, and they just opened up their restaurant. It's going to be open for about a year now, and guys, if you're ever in the Franklin area, Franklin, New Jersey area, and you ever want to stop and get a bite to eat, Puglia is probably one of the best Italian places in the area by far because they're so authentic. You got to try them out. But let me get back. I digress. One of the things that they're really good at is that they are so good at telling their story, telling where the olive trees in their restaurant came from and why they're so significant to their family. There's always conversations about the generations of food makers and generations of story that they share with their guests on their Instagram page that really give you a deep sense of like every dish that they make comes from the heart. Every dish that they make has a story from Italy that no other Italian restaurant in the neighborhood has. And that goes a long way. So I'll give you a quick example. I was actually in Italy when they opened on vacation, and I had a bunch of friends reaching out to me while I was away, and they were like, yeah, when you come back, you have to try this place. So when I came back, I gave it a shot, and I literally warp zoned me back to Italy. Now, fast forward, I've been going there for over the past year, and what I found was their clientele shifted. And I pay close attention to that when I'm visiting restaurants because I want to see the types of diners that come into the restaurant. And I'm secretly profiling them because you never know. You know, I might be doing business with them one day and I need to understand their audience better than anybody else. And what I found was that their customers were very authentic in themselves. I saw some people in the restaurant that looked like they were off the boat from Italy. And that's just me maybe profiling them a little too hard. But I could see by their stories that they were putting out on social media, they were attracting a very specific audience. And it was people from Italian descent, maybe from Italy themselves, first generation, second generation, that want a taste of their homeland. And that's why they're going to Puglia. So I think that is a significant piece of your Instagram strategy, is telling your brand story and actually getting people to understand the origin of it and why your restaurant exists. I'll give you another quick story. So working with a steakhouse in northern New Jersey, and it's 22,000 square feet. The place is huge, and they've been around for 10 years. And you guys know to have a restaurant open for 10 years is not for the faint-hearted. They've put tremendous amount of blood, sweat, and tears into this place, and every detail of this restaurant has a story behind it. Quick example, when you walk into this restaurant, there is this ginormous, I believe it's an oak tree, and this thing is massive. It probably weighs a couple tons, and it literally is one of the beams that hold the restaurant up. And they basically shipped this tree from Oregon. I think it survived a forest fire or something. And they shipped it from Oregon to be built and to have the restaurant built around it. Like, that's a story that's just, what other restaurant has that? Probably none. So these are some of the things that I want to share with you because people really resonate with story. People love to be told a great story. And look at me. Here I am retelling that story over and over and over again. So makes a lot of sense to really showcase your brand story because that changes your business to a brand. And in the next episode, we're going to talk about what you're building. Are you building a business or are you building a brand? So we'll get into that in the next episode. All right, guys, real quick, if you're enjoying the content, I want to give you a quick minute to go and subscribe, like, comment, leave a review on the platforms that you're watching or listening to this show on. This is going to help boost the show up and really help get more people aware of this content, because I think it's really going to help you guys over time build a stronger, more profitable restaurant and help you serve the people that you want to serve the most. So make sure you do those quick things before we proceed. All right, we talked a little about this before, but I want to go over some common mistakes again, just to make sure that we're not making them in the future. And the one that really, really is going to matter the most is having these strong calls to action. Just make sure you're guiding your visitors and your followers in the direction that you want them to take. Otherwise, they're going to get lost and you're going to feel it in the conversion. You're going to feel it in the reservation and cover counts because they're not going to be booking. So just make sure you get very, very clear with that call to action and explain to them what you want them to do next. We talked about before ignoring followers. Listen, when they're reaching out, make sure you drop a little response to make sure that they know that they've been heard and felt. That goes such a long way. Even if you're super busy, you could say something as simple as, super busy right now. Thank you for reaching out. When it slows down a little bit, we're going to get back in touch with you. Or I'm going to put you in touch with Sammy, and Sammy's going to take care of you from here. Here's his email. Here's his phone number. Reach out to him. Make sure that he's going to take care of you. That's it. Takes you 10 seconds. Listen, that will go a long way. The other big mistake that I want to share is the copying of other restaurants. This, I think, is one of the worst mistakes that you can make. And I've talked about this in nauseam, and I want to share with you some more details on this because this will damage your restaurant's marketing. So let me ask you a quick question. Do you want to be a Me Too brand? Do you want to feel like the restaurant that's aside from you or 2 miles down the road? Or do you want to confuse your audience between your restaurant and the one that you're competing with? Probably not. And so the other thing that just strikes me as something that feels a little lazy is when somebody comes to me and says, Henry, I want our stuff to look just like this. See how good that looks? I get it. From an aesthetic point of view, I think you're pulling out examples that you want us to follow, and that's fantastic. But if we tell the same story they're telling, then how do we differentiate? So I think it's one thing to model what you find attractive, but never forget that you have to create something original from your point of view, from your brand, from your restaurant that is unique from that restaurant, because I think that is the winning formula. You can take inspiration from other restaurants, but don't be lazy about it. Take that inspiration and ask yourself, how can I make this mine? So here's what I want you to do next. Open up your Instagram account and take a peek at your last 9, 10, 15 posts and ask yourself, am I creating more dynamic content? Am I creating content that's actually creating a feeling and connection? And ask yourself, is it strong enough to penetrate through the thousands of pieces of content that gets produced on a daily basis? And if the answer is no, then we got some work to do, guys. But I'm going to give you a quick little tool that I think will help you tremendously. If you come to my Instagram account and DM the word social, you'll be able to download this free AI tool that is going to help you really take the thinking part and the guesswork part out of your content strategy. And it's really going to help you put some really cool suggestions and some topics and some ideas together that literally all you'll have to do is copy and paste them and execute. Or you can hire a company like myself and we can do all the work for you. So completely up to you, but I want you to grab that tool because I've seen a lot of restaurant owners downloading it and using it and then DMing me going, dude, that just took like 3 hours out of my day because now I'm able to just implement the stuff that it told me to do within a matter of an hour. So go ahead and do that and you'll see the results start to change for your restaurant's social media. So on the next episode, we're going to be talking about how to tell your brand's story so guests are coming to your restaurant and not your competitors. I'll catch you on the next episode, guys.